You'll live a long and healthy life, and so that is the hack. You start taking steroids when you first join the gym, abuse them, get your blood work done, make sure, perhaps just take a few things, make sure that you don't actually kill yourself during that time, you don't have horrendous acne and all those side effects, and then hop off after about a year and a half, and then tell everyone you're 100% natural, send me your blood work, you'll probably pass, and the world will then keep revolving. Now, Jeff Nippard just ruined his credibility. Obviously, I mean, I did, Jeff did, we all did. And why is that? Because, well, we went by the blood work. If you go by science, aka blood work, you're not credible. What you need to do is go by the eyeball test, like Philion. Philion has so much more credibility than myself or Jeff because he looks at a guy and says he has more muscle than him, and so clearly he's a fake natty. Works every time. It's not possible to be wrong. And so let's watch Catabolic Twig's newest video on Jeff Nippard.
Is it possible to look like you're on steroids without ever actually taking steroids?
No.
And so immediately, the Catabolic Twig has more credibility than myself or Jeff because he knows that it's impossible to look like you're on steroids if you're not. You can't do it. Every single person that looks like a fake natty is. All of them. If there are 100 million people out there working out and 20 million of them look like they're on steroids, every single person that looks like they might be on steroids, they are. And you thought you wouldn't gain any valuable information from this video. Listen, it's the hack. If they look like they might be on steroids, they are. I'll give you some other advice. If a woman's mouth is moving, she's lying. It's simple. If you marry a woman, you're going to end up in a divorce. Every woman is cheating on you. These absolutes are so great. I mean, I wish I had thought of this younger. I'm 49. 49! If I had realized this when I was younger, man. And so, some other tips for you. You should all gamble right now. Togi suggested it. He made millions of dollars. How did it work for him? How's it working out? Togi is making millions of dollars. He's world famous. Toby also blasted steroids for a little while. He got this crazy looking physique. And so you got to blast the steroids. Every one of you will get a crazy dream physique. Every one of you all got to gamble. You're all eventually going to win. The only reason you lose is you didn't gamble long enough. How didn't I think of this? And so every person that looks like they're on steroids is. Every woman with a tattoo, well, you know what that means. Every girl with a tongue piercing, poof, every single one. And all men who are below 5'7" tall, like Coach Greg, well, we have a Neapolitan complex, you know. We only work out because we're fearful of being so short and we eat a lot of ice cream, the Neapolitan kind.
There you go. Saved you guys 16 minutes. 99% of people would not be able to look like Julian while on gear.
I believe him. He's actually right. Probably 99% of people on steroids wouldn't look like Julian. True. His arms are that big. He's that impressive that even as a natural, I rephrase that. Even as a guy who took steroids for the first couple years of his training, he started at 14, so 14, 15, 16. He took steroids for maybe 2 or 3 years. And now that he's 19, 5 years later, he stopped because he passed the blood work. 99% of people that took steroids couldn't look like that. That is impressive genetics.
Virtually no one can look like this natural.
Wait a minute. Catabolic Twig, you were on to something, but then you said virtually no one can look like this natural. I just told my audience that everyone who looks like a fake natty is. They are. You said virtually no one could look like Julian natural. I mean, this goes against what I've been saying. I'm steel manning your arguments. Now, if I were trying to straw man argument, wouldn't I say that, you know, there's a 1 in a million chance that he was natural? Like, you're basically agreeing with me. I mean, this doesn't go along with the video whatsoever. Like, I'm looking like an idiot now. The Catabolic Twig just said that there's perhaps a 1 in a million chance that Julian's natural. Virtually everyone. Virtually. Almost. But not quite. I mean, I almost feel like the catabolic twig just lost all credibility by saying that Julian might be natural. I thought it was impossible. I mean, I'm trying to argue for you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to do you a solid. I mean, didn't I contact you in private and pay you a lot of money to make these videos and let's go back and forth? I mean, we colluded together in private so that we could both go viral? Like, didn't that happen? I don't understand, because that's what me and Jeff did. We just paid each other off so that he could support me, you know, millions of dollars, and we wanted to say that Hussein was natural. And so why did you just say that Julian might be natural? That wasn't the part of the plan. Didn't we talk about... Twig. At least say that Julian must have been on Turk Builder Max or Turk Platinum, that he must have been taking these things, because that's the easiest way to look like a fake natty when you're not. It's part of the program. You take Turk Builder Max, you tell everyone, hey, I'm a lifetime natural, you take Turk Builder Max. That's the hack. If you tell them that, it gives them a plausible explanation. Maybe put on all those gains from taking Coach Greg supplements. Code Greg, 15% off. Vast majority of people are saying, there's no way this guy is natural.
You just won't be able to convince me there's a single chance he achieved this naturally.
And so, Twig, which one is it? There's not a single chance that he achieved this natural.
There's a single chance he achieved this naturally.
But prior to that, virtually no one.
Virtually no one can look like this natural.
Okay, I'm supposed to steel man argument this. Now, I used to teach math, okay? And so, catabolic twig, listen. Virtually no one and no chance are two different things. And so there's a big difference between, for example, saying there's virtually no chance Mike Isertel will get a pro card and it's impossible for him to get a pro card. One situation means that it can't be done, while the other means it can be done, although unlikely. And so, although it's unlikely that anyone will have a physique like Julian while being natural, there's maybe a 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million, 1 in 100 million, whatever. It's possible.
That's the brilliant test that Jeff Nippard conducts. He asks a bunch of people who from the lineup they think are not natty, and when everybody inevitably points to Julian and Hussein, he then proceeds to try and gaslight his audience.
And so Jeff's video grabs a bunch of people to look at these guys because he wants them to show what the world thinks. Random people are going to look at Julian and Hussein and say they're fake natties because they're not idiots. If you had to guess, if you had to bet, you would bet a lot of money that they're not natural. And you would win 99.9% of the time. Most often, you would be right. But if you pick the best natural bodybuilders in the world and you put them on a show and say, are you natural? Some of them actually are. And so if Jeff had not taken anyone's blood work and had just taken their word, hey, you say that you're natural? Yes. If Jeff had just asked them all, are you natural or not? And they said, I'm natural. Trust me, bro. Like Jubilee. Jubilee had this stupid show. He put these guys on one side and the other guys on the other and said, hey, they're natural and they're not. They took their word for it. I'm like, are you kidding? Hussein was on the side of being natural, and many people were saying some of the guys on the natural side look better than the enhanced. Jubilee didn't test any of them. He took them at their word. And so what is the point? That is moronic. But Jeff hired a doctor to get their blood work done and analyze the results. And based on those results, they were all natural. Now, it would have made the video go through the moon, through the roof, if, say, half of them had failed. Imagine if they had done the video and Julian and Hussein had failed the drug test. Testosterone levels were 2,000. LH was through the roof while FSH was down. Do you know how many markers you can easily see if they're not natural? And so if they had failed, that video would have been ultra viral. I mean, it was already viral enough, but imagine if someone had failed. It would have been amazing. And so don't you think secretly Jeff likes to get a lot of views, 10 million views on a video? Don't you think I do as well? And so do you think maybe he was somehow hoping someone would fail? Would have made such a great video, but no one failed. And so there lies the problem. Everyone failed And so Jeff Lippard just ruined his credibility because the blood work didn't prove they're fake natties. But remember, we've already decided this. They took steroids and or MK677 the first couple of years of their training, and then they stopped. And so like Hussein will now forever pass drug tests, blood tests, and so on, because he's not on the steroids, he's not on the SARMs, he's not on anything. And so his blood work is immaculate. And so Hussein is perfectly healthy. And so the years of steroid abuse that he did, because he was only a teenager when he did it, well, for the rest of his life now, he's going to keep all of those gains and probably even build on it. I mean, do y'all think he's never going to get stronger than his current strength right now, that he'll never improve ever again? I mean, if he doesn't, then you're all right. That's what he did. This is simple.
It's such a pointless video that is so below the usual quality that Jeff puts out that you can only conclude that this video was simply made to run cover for a bunch of fake natties and to take advantage of the current drama.
Yep, because of this, you can conclude that he only posted this video to cover for a bunch of fake natties. That's what he did. I mean, Jeff, he's not an ultra wealthy multimillionaire right now. I mean, he must just want to have everyone else be natural so that he could prove that he himself is natural. It's his way of covering so that everyone thinks Jeff is natural, because remember, Jeff has been training for what, 15 years? And he's currently gotten his weight up, down to 155 from 185, where he's on a cut. And he's 5'4" 3/4. We're going to get it very specific. And he's 155 pounds. And so with 15 years of training, he obviously looks like a fake natty. Like if I was looking at him, I'm like, you're not natural. Now, I've done videos on him in the past saying he was natural. But now that I've learned what actually happens is Jeff probably hopped on the first 2 years when he was a teenager and then stopped and kept those gains for the rest of his life. That explains it, right? I mean, that's got to be it.
Without having to burn bridges with influencers that Jeff might want to collaborate with in the future.
Yep, and so Jeff wants to collaborate with all these famous people like Jeff and Julian. That's why. He just desperately wants to collab with them in the future because that's how he makes his money. I mean, after all, he's collabed with Coach Greg. How many times? Probably 20 or 30 by now? No, a 0. And so do you really think that Jeff needs to lie in cover for Julian and or Hussein to make videos with them in the future? Because, Julian and Hussein probably going to get Jeff Nippard to at least 10 million followers. And so if he made a video going against them or saying they're fake natties, he'd probably lose all his followers. And so he had to lie in cover for them. I think that's got to be more likely, just like Catabolic Twig states.
And in this video, I'll show you how to build up those features 100% naturally. By the end, you'll know exactly how to look enhanced without ever touching a needle.
Again, you can't.
And so he doubles down now. Catabolic Twig says, again, you can't. You can't. You can't look like you're enhanced if you're not. It's not possible. There are no people in this world with superior genetics. Ronnie Coleman, if he had never touched a needle, probably would have made max, 193 pounds. He's like 5'10". He would have never hit 200 pounds. No possible way. Keon Pearson, when he was natural back in the day, he never would have had that in that physique. I mean, when Keon Pearson was amateur, he absolutely looked enhanced. I made a natty or not. I said, there's no way that I believe this guy's natural. But now look at the size. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, is it possible he was natural back then? At some point, he actually was. Every enhanced bodybuilder, at some point in their lifting career, when they first started, was natural. Many of these guys look crazy, crazier than Julian and way crazier than Hussein. Hussein is 5'11" and 186 pounds. He competed at 166. You know how many natural bodybuilders write me in private and say, I have a better natural physique than Hussein, do a video on me? Happens all the time. Many of them, they do. They just do. They have better legs, more muscle. And so it is possible. And the answer is you have crazy genetics. Crazy genetics, and let's throw this in here. You crazy genetics, you take natural supplements, you train your ass off, and you do that for a long enough time to see your muscles. And someone out there, maybe 1 in a million, they're going to look undeniable. You're going to think, no way are you natural. You are? I used to get that all the time. When I was natural, people used to say, I don't believe you. Of course you don't. Look at me. Now, you're just going to think I was on steroids. And now that you know that I came out, I started MK at 13. That was a secret. Or It wasn't MK because it didn't exist, but there was something. That's got to be the answer. There's no way that I actually did it natural. There's no way. And so it's easier to think, no, they're just all cheaters. Everyone with better genetics than me is a cheater, than to think somebody actually did it.
The guy has been training for 3 years. If he was natural, imagine what he would look like in another 3 years. And imagine what he would look like once he started juicing.
Oh, that's the best. Imagine what Julian would look like enhanced. I like that argument. That's a good one. If Julian is natural looking like this, what would he actually look like enhanced? Show him some people. And so we have Anton Antipov. I think that's his name. He's 19 years of age. He turned IFBB pro. He's 19. No way is this guy natural. No way. He got 5th place in a pro show in classic physique. 5th place in a pro show. Do you know how bad Julian would do in a professional bodybuilding competition if he got mind-blowing shredded while being 100% natural? He would get very close to last place, if not last place. You have no idea how much better IFBB pros are than these guys. Hussein Farhat, as an IFBB pro, would get embarrassed. At 5'11", 166 pounds, he would be going against Urs Kalasinski. Do you know how much muscle Urs would have if he were 100% natural right now? Way more than Hussein. The problem is, many of these guys, they take steroids far too young, like Urs, like C-Bum, like Sam Sulik, and so you don't know exactly how much muscle they'll put on. I've even read these comments. Anyone would have as much muscle as Sam Sulik if they took as many steroids as he did. No, that's the problem. You all think that if you took hella steroids, that you would have the same physique as Sam right now. It's genetics. Genetics dictates how much the steroids are going to work. And so just because you're on steroids, it doesn't mean you're going to look like Julian, or it doesn't mean you're going to look like me. If you have amazing genetics and then you take steroids, then you're going to look like an IFBB pro. And look at this guy. He's 19. He was in Jesse James' video. Look at this physique. He's 19. In comparison to Hussein, are you seeing the difference? Do you really think that Hussein can hold a candle to this guy? They're not even close. He couldn't even make the weight cap for classic physique. The weight cap for classic physique is 228 pounds. Hussein needs to gain 60 pounds and he'll still make the weight cap for IFBB Pro Classic Physique. And so Hussein is still 60 plus pounds too small in order to beat Urs. 60 pounds of muscle. And so even with steroids, I don't think that Hussein could beat Urs. That is how much muscle he has.
A few people pointed to subject number 5's quads as being a little suspicious, but I got in a leg workout with him, and I definitely think he earned those quads naturally.
And so that was the dumbest comment that Jeff Nippard made in the video. Remember, I'm steel manning. To say I worked out with him, and so I think he trained natural. No. That's not how it works. I mean, that made no sense. And so that just made his video look that much worse because he's saying, look, I trained with him. He worked out very hard. And so I can assure you he trained natural. That does nothing. That holds 0% validity, not even a 1% addition to the argument. Remember, I'm not trying to put catabolic twig down. I'm agreeing with him 100%. But you know what? He passed the blood work. That is everything. When you pass the blood work, it shows you haven't been on steroids or anything for several weeks and or months. And when I say several weeks, I'm talking about more than 4, not 2 or 3 weeks. Trust me, if bro was on steroids and stopped, he would fail. He wouldn't have his LH and FSH in order. You would see the signs. That is why blood work is so much better than an actual drug test.
Well, there you have it, guys. No need for regular water-grade drug testing over the course of months alongside DEXA scans to gauge whether muscle mass has atrophy.
Twig, come on. You can't tell people that a DEXA scan is going to be beneficial at testing you to see if you're a fake natty. That was what Prosper Fitness endocrinologist said. Remember that? Proctor Fitness's doctor, he went in the video and said, you know, if he really wants to prove he's natural, he's going to have to use a DEXA scan. I mean, he lost every ounce of credibility right there.
And this is what I look like now, 30 pounds lighter at around 10% body fat. I'm definitely getting more steroid accusations now, despite the fact that I'm actually quite a bit smaller. That's the illusion of bodybuilding.
Yeah, and so he agrees with Jeff. If you have a decent amount of muscle and you're leaner, people are going to think you're a fake natty. He's 155 pounds. And so, yeah, you need some muscle, but you don't need an incredible amount to look like you're a fake natty. You just need to be lean enough. Hussein Farhat's 5'11", he's 180 plus pounds. You think he's a fake natty. Jeff Nippard, 155. You think he's a fake natty. Show some photos of me. 149 pounds. How many of you think I'm a fake natty? How about this black and white photo? 155 pounds. Y'all think I'm a fake natty. Here's a side twisting shot. A very popular shot. Even Jeff Nippard wrote me about this one. He said, are you actually natural here? Yep. 155 pounds. I was not that big, but because I was lean, I looked enhanced. And so, yeah, add in a proper tan. And if you have great symmetry, great structure, and a decent amount of muscle, you automatically look like a fake natty, which proves that just because you have muscle and you're natural and look enhanced doesn't mean that you are.
Someone like Hussein gets a lot of fake natty accusations online since he has a huge social media following.
Well, no, it's because he made all of his gains in about a year and a half, the first 8 months of which were spent training in his garage with a broomstick and a ladder.
And so, no, it's because he filters his photos. He puts on structure and he makes it look like he's actually leaner than he is. He has very good lighting, and many people circulated a photo of him when he was like 13 or 15 years of age, and they think that that's his starting point. Catabolic Twig is showing the actual starting point from a guy who just played video games. He's showing him right here. He's standing there. And in that photo, he weighs in the 130s, not 120 pounds, 130s. And so if you add 130s and he's in his 180s now, that's 50 pounds. And he's been training for 3.5 years, not a year and a half, 3.5. And Julian, by the way, he started at 14. I've got all the conversation with him. He's 19 now. 14 to 19, pretty close to 5. And so Julian hasn't only been training for 3 years, it's closer to 5.
This is what everyone looked like with standard diffuse lighting. Now look at the difference once we switched to more spot lighting. Everyone went from natty to enhanced in a 1-second transformation.
No, see, Jeff is going too far. He's saying everyone went from looking natural to enhanced with just a lighting. No, they all looked better. They all looked more enhanced, but just because there wasn't good lighting didn't mean that they all looked natural. They just looked more impressive. The point is, if you use special lighting tools, you can look more enhanced than you actually are. And so when you're comparing your own physique to these guys, understand that they're using the best possible lighting to give them an advantage. And so if you feel inferior, you feel bad, realize that if you're not in really good lighting, you're not going to look as good as if you use the proper lighting.
Is it just me, or does Hussein still look massive even in the shitty lighting? To me, he still looks fully unnatural here. Why? Because I know what actual natties look like in shitty lighting. These grifters...
It's interesting because I know what actual natties look like in bad lighting. These grifters here, like some people still actually are natural and have a lot of muscle, and even in bad lighting they look good. I mean, imagine IFBB pros. If they weren't taking steroids, they would still have a shit ton of muscle. The best guys in the world, if they were natural, they would be very impressive. I'm thinking about like Mr. Olympia caliber bodybuilders like Big Ramy. Like if Big Ramy had never touched a steroid in his life and had just trained for a couple of years, he would have had more muscle than Hussein Farhad. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Look at the size of him. You're telling me he achieved this naturally in less than 2 years.
I don't understand why he's saying in less than 2 years he achieved this when he's been training for 3.5. And so I don't understand that part. I mean, hey, we're all agreeing. They obviously use steroids for the first 2 years of training, but he's been training for 3.5 years. And so remember, the point of the video is to say you should all go on steroids for the first 1.5 years or so of your training, get all the gains you're going to get in your entire life, and then go off, because then you'll have your health in order, you'll have all the gains. Can't wait for everyone to try it. Don't try it.
With all of that combined, both Hussein and Julian still dwarf Jeff size-wise, even if you take into account the difference in stature.
Jeff would beat both Julian and Hussein at a bodybuilding competition. I've already made that video. I don't know if it's posted yet or not, but they're dwarfing him because they're taller. If you look at Jeff at being 5'5", and if Jeff were suddenly 5'11", Jeff would be bigger, way bigger, especially in the legs. Notice how Julian and Hussein both have pants on. Why do you think that is? Why? Is it maybe that their upper bodies are more impressive? You know, maybe. And let me think of this. You just said Jeff has top 1% genetics. I agree. But is it top 0.0001%? Does Jeff have 1 in a million genetics? You just said top 1%. That's 1 in 100. And so give me the top 1 in 100 physique against the top 1 in a million physique and stand side by side. who do you think would win? Top tier 1 in a million genetics with, let's say, 3 years of training, or 1 in 100 genetics with 20 years of training? Who's going to win? Chris Bumstead with 3 years of training, or bro with top 1% genetics who's been training their entire life? I'm asking the question, who would you bet?
Hussein put on more size in 2 years, coming from being an absolute stick, than Jeff Nippard, the science-based lifter who has been training for almost 2 decades.
Jeff Nippard has put on 3 pounds of muscle in the last 10 years. Ask Jeff. Maybe it was 4. Ask Jeff. And so the majority of your gains, they happen in the first several years of your training. It's called newbie gains. And then after that, it's much harder to put on muscle. And so if you say, this guy only trained for 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, and they have amazing genetics, and this guy trained for 20 years, and they have above average genetics, is it possible that the guy in only 2 years puts on as much muscle as someone who trained for 20? I'm asking you.
If I, being a bit of a brainlet, can identify that these two are full of shit, then you can bet your bottom dollar that Jeff, who's a very smart guy, absolutely knows as well. And yet he still decided to make this video and to defend both of their claims.
And so here's the thing. Jeff doesn't give his opinion. Jeff goes by science. Jeff repeats what science says. Jeff may very well have thought, no way is Hussein or Julian natural. He might not think it. But if the science says natural, he has to say natural. Do you really think that Jeff was going to say, I've tested all these guys from a doctor and analyzed their blood work, and despite the fact that the blood work says they're natural, my eyeball test is saying that they're not? Was there even a 1 in a million chance that he would do that? There was not.
Also, look at how massive Hussein looks. This is the guy they're trying to make you believe simply looks unnatural because he abuses angles and lighting.
For Hussein, it's incredible genetics of having a very, very small waist. And so when the arm is closer to the camera, but his waist that's about this big, he looks bigger than ever. Now, if you measure Hussein's legs, if he had wearing a sweater and he was wearing shorts, he would walk around and say, I'm natural, and everyone would say, yeah, we know. We know Hussein. But because Hussein is like most people in this world, he wants you to see his best body parts. Chest, shoulders, and arms. The small, tiny waist. That's why I say it's 1 in a million genetics, because most people's waist not that small. And so, for example, when he wears momentous clothing, you know, the tight tank top, his waist looks so small, the muscles are popping out. He's fitting in a medium. I'm thinking, how do you fit in a medium? I'm wearing 3XL. He fits because his waist is so bloody small. And so his upper body, it pops through. He looks like a gymnast. And so that is why he looks like he has so much muscle. Remember, again, he's in the 180s. He's 5'11" and a quarter.
Julian using descriptive language that isn't 100% accurate is proof of him being natural. Moreover, he also said he's afraid of needles. Case closed.
Yeah, another stupid comment. Being afraid of needles and all this stuff, it's bullshit. Obviously, you can take steroids in oral form, MK677, peptides, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and in case you're interested, you can, of course, go to Algo RX in order to get your blood work. Algo RX will get your blood work taken from them. It's very, very cheap in comparison to, for example, Merrick Health. It's significantly cheaper, and they can prescribe medication for you. Couple-minute questionnaire, fill it out. You talk to a doctor. Do you need telmisartan for your blood pressure? Do you need enclomiphene to increase your testosterone? Do you need peptides? What exactly do you need? And so if you're interested in getting very cheap pharmaceutical grade products, go and click the link in the description. Code Greg for 10% off, as I'm now working with them. I'm a part owner of Algo RX. And so if you're looking to get the best quality care at an actually affordable price, remember, they're there to help, not to judge you. And so if you're interested and need various medications, click the link in the description.
And yes, there's also no way you achieve this naturally.
And yes, there's no possible way that you achieve this natural. Or is there? I mean, he said virtually no one at the start of the video. And so why is that? By saying it's not possible that you did, that would mean it couldn't have happened. And so in a court of law, they would say you're guilty. It's impossible that there's any other explanation. Impossible. Like literally, that means you're caught in 4K. Why? Because you saw his photo? Because his arms are bigger than mine. Bigger than whoever. What about if he has crazy genetics? What about if you use Synthol? Like hyaluronic acid, there's oils and stuff. You know the Synthol and stuff. You could inject it in your arm, make your arm much bigger. You've seen these guys, right? Is it possible he's using Synthol? I mean, to me, that seems more likely than using steroids and passing blood work. And so, is it possible to use Synthol? I'm not saying that he did, but like, why not at least explain more plausible explanation? Remember, I said I would steel man, not straw man, these arguments. And so, why isn't anyone suggesting hyaluronic acid or perhaps Synthol?
Once everything's kind of, you know, set in stone and I have everything laid out, then I'll be like, all right, cool, let's shoot for Olympia, you know what I mean?
For real?
Let's shoot for real.
Holy shit, okay.
He has 0% chance. Well, no, less than 1 in a million chance of winning the Mr. Olympia. And why? Because his shoulders aren't wide enough. I'm sorry, but he doesn't have the genetics for it. He has the genetics for size, but he doesn't have the genetics for shape. And so horrible arguments to say, I'm afraid of needles, therefore I'm not on steroids. I mean, I would have to attack that. If somebody told me that's the reason, I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm agreeing with Catabolic Twig. And so to say that he's afraid of needles and that's proof that he doesn't use steroids, well, this is not worth it. But all that you need is he actually passed the blood work. That's all that he needed. Nothing else needs to be stated.
And despite that sounding authentic, I still want a little more confirmation. So while they get their blood drawn,
the video could have been just that. That's all that was needed. Every other thing, it's just hearsay, talking, speculating. This is the proof.
Years of hard training. Dude is 19.
Years of hard training. 15, 16, 17, 18, and now 19. Last I checked, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5. That qualifies as years, plural. Even 2 years could be years of hard training. And remember, the majority of your gains, you're making them at the start of your lifting career.
Never been disappointed in a Jeff video before, but this is just silly. These guys are obviously painfully not natural, so someone as credited and respectful as yourself, this leaves a bad taste.
How is it that they're obviously painfully not natural? Now remember, I'm focusing on Julian and Hussein. There were 8 guys there. Some of those guys, I mean, they had decent physiques, but I wouldn't say they were suspicious. And so, how to lose all credibility in 16 minutes and 4 seconds? Test people's blood work and then go by the science. And if the science says they're natural, agree with the science and you've lost all credibility. I mean, I would say that probably whatever thousands of years ago when people thought the earth was flat, if you had said, hey, no, the earth is probably round, it probably rotates around the sun, you would have lost all credibility because you said what most people didn't believe. And so how to lose all credibility? Say what people don't believe. Simple as that.
Jeff is absolutely blasting gear.
Interesting. Jeff is obviously blasting gear, yet Jeff tested his own blood work. They tested Jeff. And it came back normal. And so if it's obvious that he's testing gear because he's looking at perhaps his all-time best right now, how does he looking his best right now? 155 pounds, but he's obviously blasting gear. Jeff, you're holding out on me. Show me the magic gear.
And this one right here is my personal favorite. I'm interested in getting a GH gut like Julian without actually taking human growth hormone and staying natty. Can you do a video on that?
He doesn't even have a growth hormone gut at all. Doesn't have it in the slightest. I don't understand. What do people think? If you eat breakfast, you have a growth hormone gut? Is mine growth hormone gut? Look, I haven't eaten breakfast. There. GH gut. Man, I blasted way too much. Haven't eaten in 12 hours. If I stick my stomach out, it's a little bit out there. If you eat food, your stomach is going to come out. It's as simple as that. And so there you have it. To summarize the video, all of you should hop on performance enhancing drugs the first 2 years of your training, make all the gains and then some that you'll ever make your entire life. Stop. You'll probably keep all of those gains and your blood work will be immaculate like Hussein Farhat. You'll live a long and healthy life, and so that is the hack. You start taking steroids when you first join the gym, abuse them, get your blood work done, make sure, perhaps just take a few things, make sure that you don't actually kill yourself during that time, you don't have horrendous acne and all those side effects. And then hop off after about 1.5 years and then tell everyone you're 100% natural. Send me your blood work. You'll probably pass and the world will then keep revolving.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've had enough now.
And of course, take Turk Builder Max while you do so. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the cookbooks, the training books, coaching plans by me and my team. All of this stuff. You can get Momentous starting on August 1st. You can click the link in the description for that. Momentous Clothing. And until next time, I am out.